He called her his mother, his sister, and his lover, all in one. Before the world knew him as the king of pop, before the moonwalk, before Thriller, before the glittering glove, a 9-year-old boy named Michael Jackson looked across a Motown rehearsal room and found his North Star. Her name was Diana Ross. And what began as mentorship would quietly evolve into something far deeper, far more complicated, and ultimately far more heartbreaking. A bond that defied logic, that fueled decades of whispered rumors, that, by some accounts, left Michael Jackson quietly devastated for the rest of his life. Was it a Hollywood PR stunt engineered by the Motown machine to launch a supergroup? Or was it the most tragic, most human, most unrequited love story in the entire history of music? Today, we unlock the vault. I am Frank, your host, and you are watching The Legend Vault. If you want to witness our newest deep dive episodes and unlock the secrets of history, step into the vault right now. Hit that subscribe button and claim your key to the vault. Let's dive in. The year is 1968. America is in the throes of revolution, social, political, musical. And inside the corridors of Motown Records, a decision is made that will quietly alter the course of pop history. The label needs a star to introduce the world to their newest act, 5 brothers from Gary, Indiana. They choose the biggest name they have, Diana Ross. For the label, it is business. For 9-year-old Michael Jackson, it is something else entirely. He moved into her home, spent a full year watching her, studying her discipline, her grace, the way she commanded a room simply by existing in it. Diana Ross was not merely a mentor to Michael. She was the standard against which he measured everything. He once turned to his own sisters and told them, plainly and without apology, "You're not pretty until you look like Diana." Those words were not cruelty. They were devotion. The unfiltered, all-consuming devotion of a child who had found, in one woman, the embodiment of everything extraordinary. Diana Ross had become the most important person in Michael Jackson's world. And the world had barely noticed. Fast forward 9 years. The boy has grown. The dynamic has shifted. It is 1977, and Michael Jackson, no longer a child, though still searching, arrives on the set of The Wiz in New York City alongside the woman who shaped him. Diana Ross is his co-star. His equal, now, at least professionally. Biographers who have spent years tracing the arc of their relationship note that something crystallized on those New York streets. Late-night conversations. Private confessions. A bond that was no longer mentor and student but something closer. Something harder to define. Diana herself would later speak about the Michael she saw behind the superstar, a man surrounded by noise, yet profoundly alone. She observed, quietly and with unmistakable care, Michael has too many people around him, but he's afraid. Afraid. The king of pop afraid. It was Diana who saw it. It was Diana to whom he turned. And with every year that passed, with every sold-out arena, every platinum record, every headline, Michael's bond with Diana Ross deepened into something that, at least on his side, had no clean or comfortable name. The boy's adoration had matured into a man's quiet, consuming devotion. By 1982, Michael Jackson doesn't whisper it anymore. He tells Ebony magazine, one of the most widely read publications in America, with complete clarity and zero hesitation, "I want to marry Diana Ross." He means it. This is no publicity stunt, no calculated soundbite engineered for tabloid headlines. By this point, Michael had reportedly dedicated an entire room in his home solely to Diana, hundreds of candles, burning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A private shrine to the woman who had never quite belonged to him. And then the world moved on without him. 1985, Diana Ross announces her engagement to Arne Næss Jr., a Norwegian shipping billionaire. The wedding is planned. The invitations go out. He had been invited. He simply could not go. Years would pass before he addressed it publicly. And when he finally did in his own memoir, the words were not those of a man who had moved on. They were the words of a man still carrying something heavy. I was hurt and a little jealous. Because I've always loved Diana. I've always loved Diana. The king of pop. A Grammy-decorated legend. The most famous entertainer on earth. Hurt. And a little jealous. Because he had always loved Diana. In the end, Michael Jackson's truest testament wasn't a song. It wasn't Thriller. It wasn't Billie Jean. It wasn't even the moonwalk, that single, gravity-defying gesture that made the world collectively hold its breath. It was a legal document. Signed. Witnessed. Final. In his last will and testament, Michael Jackson named Diana Ross as the secondary guardian of his 3 children. Not a brother. Not a business associate. Not a childhood friend or a fellow artist. Diana Ross. Think about what that means. In the most private act of a man's entire life, in the document that speaks not to the world but to history, Michael Jackson reached back across 60 years and placed his children's future in the hands of the woman who had defined him since he was 9 years old. Some bonds resist every attempt at categorization. They are not romantic love in the conventional sense. They are not family in the legal sense. They are something older, rarer, and more enduring than either. Michael Jackson trusted Diana Ross with the most precious things he had ever held. Even in death, he chose her. Before we close the vault today, I have 2 questions for the Legend Vault family. And I want you to think carefully before you answer, because these are not simple questions. Question: 1. Do you believe Diana Ross was the true love of Michael's life, or was he simply chasing a childhood dream? Question: 2. Why do you think Michael chose Diana as the guardian in his will over his own siblings? Let's discuss in the comments. Drop your answers below. I will personally be reading every single one, and I will be hearting the most thoughtful and most profound responses in the Legend Vault community. The music may have stopped, but the echoes of their love remain. Thank you for joining me in the vault today. Until next time, stay legendary. This is Frank, signing off.